Welcome back to Everyday Sports Fan. I'm your host, Chris. Today we're going to be talking about something that's probably near and dear to most of your hearts, and that's the 2017 NFL football season. Because most of us, our team is out, and we're just waiting for the start of next season. Along with a couple players, waiting for the NFL's comeback. We're going to be covering one in particular, former Heisman winner from Texas A&M, Johnny Manziel.
Manziel scrambling, trying to get to the end zone. He will do.
Four-man Alabama rush. Got him. No, they didn't. Oh, my gracious. How about that? He almost loses it. Recatches.
So most of you are probably old enough to remember Johnny Manziel, the Heisman winner from Texas A&M, that went in the first round to the Cleveland Browns after having a slight draft day drop, as he was predicted to possibly go, number 1 or number 2. Phenomenal, exciting player. I would say arguably the most exciting player to watch in college football since number 5 was donned at USC, Reggie Bush. But obviously he had his fair share of struggles as he came into the league very young. But I think a comeback's not impossible for him. So today I'm going to be giving 5 teams I think would be the best fit to give Johnny Manziel his wish of an NFL comeback. Cover his cons first. It's not that his sample size is very large, but it's still decent enough to get an idea. He's a very mediocre quarterback, in the NFL at least. He 7 interceptions, 7 touchdowns, just a tad over 1,600 yards, and he ran for 1 in regular season. However, in preseason, he showed very big flashes of what we saw running around at College Station, and beating Alabama. But, those days could very well be long gone. We saw some pictures of him this summer, where he's probably 20 to 30 pounds below his playing weight. Now, I've seen a couple recent TMZ videos where he talked about trying to make the comeback. I'll have links to those down below in the description. But he looks like he's put some of the weight back on. He's obviously probably not in football shape, but that's something that really needs to be considered before even taking a shot at him. It's not even the character issues, it's is he in playing shape? Because you can't just put him out there to go get snapped like a twig. But then we got to talk about, obviously, his issues. Any team that gives him a shot, first off, there's a huge issue. His domestic violence case, which could lead to at least a 6-game suspension by the NFL. Which means, as you'll notice with most of these teams I'm selecting him for, he shouldn't be brought in as your future of a starter right away. He is a project because Johnny Manziel is still a project. And that's what teams are going to have to realize. Also, he has a small drinking and possible drug abuse issue, which apparently he claims after about Christmas time, some videos were released of him doing some crazy stuff. Apparently his New Year's resolution is to be a better person in 2017. Rough quote by him, something along the lines of, in 2016 I was a douche. Which, Johnny Manziel, you weren't a douche, you were just the Justin Bieber of the NFL. However, 2017 is a new year, and you claim to be over 20-something days sober now. So if you can keep this going until NFL training camp, I don't really have a problem with the team giving you a shot. Now, I'm not even saying you have to be necessarily completely sober, but you have to be a normal 20-year-old person. Actually, not a normal. You have to be a slightly better 24-year-old person. You gotta be like Russell Wilson. You gotta go have a beer at dinner. Maybe a glass of wine when you're with your family at a restaurant. You can't be going to Vegas every weekend, pouring champagne on your face, and taking fireball shots on the bar top with strippers. That stuff has to go if you want to make this a realistic shot at the NFL and have one of these 5 teams give you a shot. So let me start with the best team. My number 1 team that would be the best fit for Johnny Manziel, which ironically would be the hardest for him to get the shot from, would be the New England Patriots. It's no surprise that they've given people shots before, whether it be Randy Moss, whether it be Tim Tebow. The New England Patriots have taken not NFL comebacks, but shots on players that bring a lot of attention, and possibly for Randy Moss, people thought was washed up and done, much like Johnny Manziel. Bill Belichick and Robert Kraft are just the strongest of leaders. You look at all the Rodney Harrison, Junior Seau, all the people that they had in there that might have had some issues, and they dealt with them well, and they never hear anything bad. come out while they're on the New England Patriots. That's why I think he'd be a great fit. You have Tom Brady playing at a competitive level for the next foreseeable couple of years, 2, 3, 4 years. That gives Johnny Manziel time to sit there, learn, become a quarterback, mature a bit. And then when Tom's gone, you have the chance of a really great player to take over, much like Tom was with Drew Bledsoe. Obviously, apples and oranges, but Brady got to learn from Bledsoe before he was thrown into the fire, and that might be part of the reason why he's become arguably the greatest quarterback of all time. Because you gotta look, people get better when they mature. If you look at Brian Bosworth now, you don't even recognize him as the Boz back at Oklahoma. And that's where I think Johnny Manziel is. He hasn't played football since he was 22 years old. I think I am way different at 24 than I was at 22. I think Johnny Manziel is realizing that, and that's kind of part of this 2017 thing. And he's not there yet. That's why he might need to sit and have some time to learn. Number 2, Kansas City Chiefs. Andy Reid took a shot on Michael Vick on his NFL comeback, and it worked out great. Michael Vick kind of during that first season, which would be kind of what Johnny was used as like a gimmick player. That was the year the Wildcat was popular. They threw him in Wildcat formations. I think the only game he really played was against Atlanta, and he actually played very great. But he had the know-how of being under a previous quarterback he looked up to in Donovan McNabb, and really getting to get back in football shape, learn it, and obviously his time in jail and his time on the bench, he matured. He wasn't the same person he was when he was indicted for dogfighting and went to jail when he was in Atlanta. And it worked for Andy Reid. He got 2 to 3 really great years out of Michael Vick in Philly. And I think he could do the same thing in Kansas City. He has Alex Smith, who's not the most productive quarterback, but he gets the job done, and they're in the playoffs almost ritually every single year. And Alex Smith is probably coming out on his twilight years, sadly for Kansas City fans. And do they really have a backup plan in place? They might think so, but why not take Johnny Manziel, have him sit under Alex Smith for 2-3 seasons, then he leaves, and you have this star player who you know the potential of to take over the Kansas City Chiefs. I think it'd be great. Andy Reid is a great mentor. I think he'd do great work with them. There's not a lot of distractions in Kansas City, which I think would be good for Johnny early. That's why I think the Kansas City Chiefs would be the second best team for Johnny Manziel. The third team, the Pittsburgh Steelers. The main reason for this is Mike Tomlin reminds me a lot of Kevin Sumlin. In fact, that they're both not necessarily young, but they seem younger than they are because they have a very good nardor. They feel like they could throw on some pads, much like PJ Fleck did, and actually go out there and practice with the players and actually hit some people. And I think players respect that. And Johnny Manziel, I feel like, got along great with Kevin Sumlin. I think Mike Tomlin would be very similar to him. And once again, he doesn't have to start right away. Ben Roethlisberger is that starting quarterback, no doubt about it. So Johnny doesn't have to be rushed into anything. The only thing they have to worry about is if Ben gets hurt, as he's been getting hurt a little bit more frequently now, before Johnny is ready. But is Landry Jones really your backup plan? Come on, Pittsburgh. Once again, just like the other two people, bring him in. Let him sit there. Let him learn. Let him mature. Then when your starter guy is finally gone, you have his replacement ready. The Aaron Rodgers method. Now, Johnny is a little bit more troubled, but that's why these strong organizations would be a good target for him. He's not going to start. They have strong leadership, strong coaches, strong ownership. And I think that will lead to Johnny's success. Number 4 is the Seattle Seahawks. Pete Carroll is no stranger to high personalities. He has plenty of them on the Seahawks roster right now. He also has no problem with controversial players. His current backup quarterback, Javon Boykin, is in trouble because he punched a bartender at their bowl game a couple of years ago. So it's not like Pete Carroll is just what he is on TV, the rah-rah, oh, I'm just pretending nothing happens. He does some serious work to help these guys. The 60 Minutes way back in the day when he was recruiting at USC shows. He goes into troubled neighborhoods and tries, he said the most important thing is helping them with his Better Seattle and Better LA programs. He's all about improving troubled characters. And Johnny Manziel is a perfect example of a troubled character. Nothing but talent. Even comes from a strong family, which he can work with to help make Johnny figure it out. The downside to being on the Seahawks is Russell is still young. Russell is not going anywhere. Unless Russell gets hurt, Johnny won't get that light at the tunnel of knowing he might get a play. Which I think when you're making an NFL comeback, your plan is not just the paycheck and to be on a team. It's the play, which obviously isn't really going to happen at the Seahawks unless Russell gets hurt and he gets a shot at the ball and then maybe gets signed in free agency or traded somewhere. At number 5, the most dangerous pick, the Houston Texans. Bill O'Brien is a great coach. I think he would do a good job managing Johnny Manziel. The ownership would look like geniuses for passing on him in the draft a couple years ago, and everybody said they should take Johnny Manziel. They pass on him, then get to bring him in at a discounted price. 3 seasons later, you look like geniuses. Brock Osweiler, could just be a fluke year, hasn't played the football they're expecting, and they're paying him a lot of money. So that could create that spotlight on Johnny Manziel if Houston Texan fans, after a while, if Osweiler isn't figured out in 2017, might be calling for number 2 to play. He's not going to play in the first couple games. His 6-game suspension will probably already be served. But come week 10, if they're kind of on the cusp of the playoffs like they are every year, maybe they say, let's put Johnny in and see what can happen. The other problem with that is Johnny Manziel is from Texas, which is great, except all his possible troubled friends are also in Texas, and that's going to lead to, some issues. Him being in the 3rd or 4th largest city in the country, by his hometown with his home friends. Hopefully his home friends aren't the issue, and they'd be positive influences on him. But he also has his parents there and his rest of his family, which will always be a positive issue for Johnny Manziel. So hopefully that would help him out. The Houston Texans had the quickest shot at him playing again, but also the most dangerous of seeing this comeback implode on itself and Johnny be out of the NFL for the foreseeable future. So I hope you liked that video. If you did, please leave a like. It really helps out the channel. If you liked the video and think we're better than Skip Bayless, hit the subscribe button down below. That will get you access to everything we do when it comes out, and you'll even get a neat little notification. I want to thank you guys for coming in. Every single view, every single like really helps. If you have a video you want to see, leave a comment down below, and I'll make sure to get back to it and see if I can do a video on it. Also, if you want to express your own opinion, let us know. We're always looking for writers on the website, everydaysportsfans.com, which you should also go check out because there's lots of content on there that we don't cover on YouTube. Make sure you check out some of our other videos. I want to thank you guys for coming over to the channel and hope you have a great rest of your day.